All you have to do is turn the key 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And it's going to tell you the engine code P0420. Check engine light immediately after that we got the vehicle smog. Now what that means is you got yourself a bad catalytic converter. Auline's just hyped for another video.
Oh yeah, you guys. We are ready for episode number
5.
Alright, come on down, Rick.
If you guys haven't seen the other episodes, check them out. On episode 1, we talk about how we bought this Jeep, all the issues it has, and all the details involved in getting a brand new Jeep Wrangler TJ 2003 model for you today.
Episode 2 was changing out these amazing headlights. As you can tell, they look absolutely insane. Y'all know what happened on episode 3 when we changed out the rear bumper.
What's going on?
I don't know, you hyped me up with like
Oh,
the
wow.
first one. Okay.
Episode 4 is that soft top, so welcome to episode number 5. On this week's episode, we are going to be giving this thing an Italian style tune-up, putting everything on the line to see if these products work or if they're just a bunch of snake oil. So be sure to stick around, hit that subscribe button, and let's get started.
Let's make it smoke. Hint, hint. We are extra excited for today's episode. As you can tell, we have some amazing sunshine. All that rain and those clouds are gone, so we decided to make some smoke ourselves. If you watched episode 1, you would know that when we purchased this Jeep, it came without an air filter. Now we have no clue how long the Jeep has been running without that air filter, which is why we got today's episode.
And if you notice, the Jeep was totally dusty. The engine bay, the interior, we super cleaned it on our episode, but I worry because of how dusty it was. Now, another present we got with this Jeep is the P0420 engine code, which is telling us that our catalytic converter is not working efficiently. Now, that could be many different reasons, but one of the biggest issues with that code in California is, first of all, a replacement catalytic converter is like $2,000 if you could find it. There's no website I found, there's no part that I found that actually is available to replace the catalytic converters. So we're gonna do the only thing we know how to do, use Mickey Mouse Pup.
No, we don't Mickey Mouse here on Garage Couple, y'all know that.
So we're gonna try this dura-lube. Literally on the package itself, it says clears code P0420, the exact code that we have. It also says use before replacing your catalytic converter. This bottle is $18 and we're gonna put it to the test. We'll let you know if it clears the code. I'm not gonna get rid of the code. So hopefully it does, but I have my doubts. We're also gonna be cleaning the entire top end of the Jeep by using the seafoam spray. Now what this entails, we'll walk you through it, but you're gonna make quite a bit of smoke using this product. Don't worry though, it's totally safe to use on your engine. We've used this before on almost all of our Jeeps, and it definitely helps not only clear things out, but also improve the responsiveness when you accelerate.
And last but not least, we are going to change the Jeep's oil. Again, we have no clue the last time this Jeep had its oil changed, so we have the filter for that, along with our Quaker State oil. And since we're doing that as well, we decided to change the spark plugs for good measure.
So anytime you do the seafoam treatment, you should replace your spark plugs because they get pretty foul. If you've seen our previous video that has so many views and likes, because I guess this is a huge issue with Wranglers, get yourself the Champion copper plugs. We'll put the link in the description. So much talking, but why don't we get started?
Let's do it. Start by opening up your seafoam. Greg is gonna pop the hood open.
And peel it back like a banana.
Just like a banana. Make sure that you've warmed up your vehicle before starting this job.
Now this is a simple and easy way. We'll let you know if we get better miles per gallon. We'll let you know exactly how it goes. You know, there might be so much crud on the intake manifold, but this actually damages the engine. We don't really know what's gonna happen, but stay tuned to find out.
Now you'll notice the seafoam comes with a hook along with a little tubing. This is gonna attach your intake manifold, and we'll show you how to attach it in just a second.
So one of the benefits of having a hook and this new seafoam spray is that you don't have to use unfiltered air. You basically just unscrew this connection, and you just have to locate this on your vehicle. Go ahead and undo that, and then we're gonna go ahead and grab that hook, the seafoam hook, as long as Ollie decides to hand it over to me. Go ahead and get your hooked end, hook it into the intake manifold, and reconnect this bad boy. It should slip just like that, right over it. Now we're gonna go ahead and tighten that. Man, that is dirty. We're gonna take the whole intake manifold out later and manually clean it. So this is a two-person job. One person is gonna squeeze this can, and then other person is gonna turn the vehicle on, making sure it's in neutral and not in a driving gear, and just hold it right at 2,000 RPM. Now, it takes 7 minutes for this entire can to empty, so just be patient. I'm gonna position the camera in the rear so we could see if it makes any smoke.
Let's do it.
It may not, it may. Let's see. Let's do it. All right, so now that we're done, look at Aldine, the trooper that she is. You want to wait 10 minutes for this thing to heat soak into the engine, and then the next thing they recommend is to drive it very spiritedly around town. So we'll have to wait 10 minutes and then take it around the block. Now we're just going to go ahead and remove that tubing now. What do you think?
Let's do it. Go for it.
All right, it's been 10 minutes. Let's see the smoke show. After we turn it on, we're gonna take it for a drive, and we're gonna do spirited driving for another 10 minutes. We'll fill this thing up and then add that catalytic converter cleaner into the fuel tank, and that P0420 code will be
eliminated. Let's go.
Wow, feels like a Ferrari.
Whoa.
Wow.
Wow, the grass behind you looks so green after all that rain.
Let's give it some spirited driving. It actually made a lot less smoke than I thought it would. So the gas light just came on for the first time since we bought the Jeep. It's gone a total of 280 miles before the gas light came on. Now that means there's about 3 to 4 gallons of fuel left in the tank. And 280 miles before the light coming on is unheard of. Literally on all of the other Wranglers and the TJs and YJs that we've owned, the light comes on when there's about 200 miles on that tank. So I am super impressed by the miles per gallon with this Jeep. I'm excited to see what happens when we change out that oil and we change out those spark plugs after doing the seafoam treatment.
We made it after driving around in the Jeep. We are at the gas station filling up, not all the way, but just a bit. Oh, my hair.
Instructions say to do 16 gallons of fuel for the whole tank of treatment, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna add about 13 gallons.
Let's do it. Fill her up. How's those gas prices, Greg?
Why don't you show them? I guess the question is, how much is gas where you guys are?
It's a good question. How much is gas where you are? Drop a line below. Let's look at ours. Wow. For City 9. Whoa.
City walk. Welcome to
City 9, City 9,
City,
City 9.
City.
All right, let's fill up and get this bad boy on its way. Greg, you can't fix that.
I'm gonna fix this thing. All right, dura-lube, save me $2,000. Let's do it. Let's do big money, big money, big money, big money.
So what?
Down the hatch we go. And just like that, our pockets are $18 lighter. We just made it back from our spirited drive. Now we're gonna do the spark plugs. Follow along.
Follow along.
Follow along.
All right, teach.
This guy right over here is a 1/2-inch drive. You're gonna remove just this one side to give you a little bit more leeway so that you're able to go ahead and remove this airbox. Wow, look at that filter.
Ah, brand new, huh?
Like it never happened.
Never happened. Go ahead and undo that intake manifold. Just a flathead.
That connection there, and then go ahead and pull off this hose.
Just like that, huh?
Just like that.
That's the bolt right there. That's next on our list. This could use some cleaning.
Try your best not to break these. Use 2 hands.
All right, clips off without breaking.
There's one more. Without breaking. That's super important. All right, that one's off too. Now let's disconnect the throttle cable. To do this, go ahead and bend over. Align the tabs here. And then later you're gonna have to rewrap this back in, just like we took it out.
Next, you have 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. You might need an extension to get to that last one that I had showed you earlier, so go ahead and grab your extensions. All right, it's off.
Absolutely filthy. Wow, look at that.
Wow.
The next step in removing the spark plugs is getting rid of the coil pack. As you can see here, there are 4 total coil packs which we will remove and just put out of the way so that we could reach into the spark plug boots. Using a magnetic spark plug tool, just go ahead and insert down there until it engages. There we are. And go ahead and unscrew your spark plug. I am super curious to see how this is gonna look. This is spark plug number 1. Let's take a look. There's spark plug number 1. There's quite a bit of oil on it actually, surprising. Yeah, quite a bit of engine oil. Not sure if that's from all the seafoam that we just used, but that plug looks like it's seen better days. I don't want to gap this thing because I could clearly tell that it's very far from where it should be. Why don't we go ahead and put the new one in? So let's take a look at the new one. Now these are already gapped from the factory, but look at how close that gap is. Looks totally different. Now a trick that I like to use is I get some petroleum jelly and I put it on the threads. And then I'll go ahead and I'll put some along the boot as well. And this will basically act as anti-seize. So if you don't have petroleum jelly, go ahead and use some anti-seize. Now let's go ahead and put that back in our tool. Hand tighten all the way and then give it just a little extra oomph with the ratchet. You don't want to strip any of this.
One down.
Go ahead and put that coil boot back over it. Make sure you push it nice and snug and on to the next. We're gonna just knock those out. We'll see you guys in a few minutes. Looks terrible, just like the first one.
New one's going in.
Number 3. Wow, that looks terrible.
Number 4. All 4 spark plugs are in, so we are gonna button up those intake folds. Because there's so many folds. We're gonna button up that front end and then it's time for the oil change. Let's do it.
And you don't have to replace that intake manifold gasket as long as it looks okay. So ours actually looks pretty decent, so we're just gonna redo it. Now whenever you're tightening these 3 bolts, put them hand tightened in all 3 directions and then go basically in a crisscross pattern to fully tighten them.
Crisscross apple sis. Spark plugs are changed, everything is buttoned up, and let's move on to the oil. Let's start by draining the oil from the plug below. Let's show you where it is.
So if you look at the catalog, the oil filter for the 2.4 is a lot smaller than the 4 liter, but when you actually look at the vehicle, it looks just like the 4 liter. So I'm going to use this from XG, the Extra Guard 16, which is supposed to be just as good as Mopar, if not better. Now, I would have bought Mopar, but they're out of stock around me, so I just went with this one. I've used these in the past. If you follow us, you know we've put hundreds and thousands of miles on our Jeeps, and it honestly doesn't really matter what kind of filter that you use, just as long as you do this often. So why don't we go ahead and remove the old one, let's swap everything out, put some fluids in, some Quaker State 530, take it for a spin and see what's up.
Out with the old and with the new, you always grab a little bit that good and rub it on the new one.
That O-ring, so it makes a decent seal.
It's pretty cool that there's all this empty place, so it makes that oil filter super accessible compared to other vehicles. Greg's going under. Let's start draining. We are also not used to so little clearance underneath our Jeeps.
This is nuts. This is crazy.
So there's that bolt. It's just gonna start pouring out, so make sure that you have something to catch the oil with. Go.
Only use the best stuff. Here's some 530 Quaker State synthetic. Now the motor calls for 1030, but we actually live in a warmer environment, so we're going to use a little bit of a thinner oil. We don't need it to be as thick on startup. Now it says it takes about 4 quarts, which is a lot less than the 4 liter. So we're going to put 4 quarts in and then check.
Well, there you have it, you guys. We did the seafoam treatment to clean that engine. We changed out the spark plugs, and we gave this baby an oil change. We are so excited to see how well the Jeep drives after all of these maintenance but important things to do on your Jeep when you purchase a new vehicle.
You forgot about the catalytic converter cleaner.
Oh, forgot about that little swifty, huh?
Make sure you follow us on Instagram. We'll post it on our story if that engine light turns off.
Yeah, we'll let you know. Thank you all for coming along on episode 5, and we have so much more to come. Make sure to check us out on Instagram and TikTok, and hit that subscribe button, you guys. I don't gotta beg, you know what's up. Thanks for coming along, and we'll see you on the next one.